Hey guys, thanks for checking out my channel. I'm John Stark from MacandMovieGuy.com, and this is a review of Black Adam. This is, yeah, it's a big release. It just dropped on HBo Max with audio description from the great William Michael Redmond and the team at Deluxe. So congratulations to them. I'm a blind film critic, and I watch movies with audio description that's whenever possible, and then when not possible, I usually just complain about it. That's what I do. So please subscribe. Um, so yeah, the audio description here was amazing. Actually, the team at Deluxe and William Michael Redmond did really wonderful work here on the audio description. There's this film is basically a giant fight sequence. There's not really a lot that happens, and they don't really go many places. They're in this fictional country for the majority of the film, and there's just a lot of fighting. They give Dwayne Johnson a lot of opportunities here to smash things and to break things and to punch people and just extend fight sequences. Plus, they have the the other superheroes in the film that have to show off their powers. Anyway, so I want to try to do a spoiler-free version of this film. It's I don't explaining parts of this film is just gonna be kind of a gap. So I'm gonna give kind of a brief summary. There's there's some backstory and some lore about how this country used to be enslaved and until someone stood up and finally decided to be its champion, and we see a lot of flashbacks to that, and that person sort of became infused with powers and abilities, and that was sort of in the past, and we see like a flashback story to how that kind of plays out. And then we also flash forward to the future where we have a woman, Adriana, played by Sarah Shahi. I've always seen her in TV shows, but I don't know how to pronounce her name. And she is trying to awaken this protector, this champion, because they are under a military rule and seemingly the world has forgotten about them. And she wants this, person to free them. And this person they believe is Black Adam, who is not actually ever called Black Adam in the film, by the way, until literally the end of the film when it pops up on the film and it says Black Adam at the very end of the film. But Adam is in his name, so so Adam wakes up and he is, first of all, out of touch with the world. Second of all, he's kind of like an anti-hero. He's not quite like Deadpool level, where it's too much, but he is kind of not the guy you would want around your kids. They do some really funny stuff with him. I enjoyed Dwayne Johnson in this. I think some people have been really hard on this film, but I enjoyed some of the choices that they made. I enjoyed that he just walks through a wall because he can. It doesn't matter if there's a door. He just pretends to not know what doors are, and he just walks through a wall. And it's kind of funny. I was amused by stuff like that, just by little choices that he makes. He has a conversation about teaching a boy violence, and he's like, okay, so who do you want to teach him violence? And it's little things that made this character funny. I don't know that the character's supposed to be funny, but I appreciated the fact that what they were doing is they were finding humor in him being out of touch with everything around him. it's not like he was trying to be funny in the way that Deadpool is. He just is uh, out of place. It's a fish out of water type of humor, and they're not necessarily trying too hard to make this a comedy. There are some characters in here that are played just totally straight. I didn't think the not the Justice League, because God, if it was the Justice League, this film would be way more amazing. But the whatever league of that's on, it's the same league that's on Stargirl that has the crappy like Dr. Fate and some other heroes and just like these random people that it's like they never really made the main team, but they're like roaming the planet. It's got Atom Smasher and Cyclone, and Hawkman is like the main hero here, and you've got Pierce Brosnan and Aldous Hodge, and Noah Centineo, and just that there's a little group of superheroes that were put in this film because they're all expendable, basically, because none of them are ever going to get their own film. And they just, it's like DC was like, who could we just pull out of our asses? Oh, these guys. And they're just in the film. And they're supposed to try to stop Black Adam and put him away because they believe him to be a threat. But Adriana wants Black Adam to save her country. And she has some really great moments where when these people show up, she's like, I don't know who you are. I don't know what this thing is. You're trying to save us from this guy, but we've been here under a military dictatorship for like 30 years. So I don't know what you've been doing, but you haven't cared about us for the last 30 years. So you can promptly go fuck off. She's great for the non-powered character in the film. She also has a son. It's her and her son that are in the film. When she absolutely just reads the superheroes, I thought it was perfect, because they come in and they're like, we're heroes and we're here to do this. And she's like, who the fuck are you and where have you been? If you were really heroes, we wouldn't be in this situation. I wouldn't have needed to wake up to have awakened this guy in the first place. So if you were truly heroes that cared about this country, that cared about preserving this country, they're the weakest part of the film. They just spend the whole time bitching about Black Adam killing people and like trying to like save villains from being killed. It's so bizarre. It's so weird. It's like they're the morality police that like fly in, and Hawkman spends most of the time in the film just like trying to save the people that Black Adam is just he doesn't care. He's just like, whatever. He just like throws people. He's like, this guy's a bad guy. Why would I keep him alive? He just throws him up in the air, and the guy falls like 100 feet from the air. So Hawkman's like trying to like catch people as they fall, and it's just they're kind of pointless, to be totally honest. This film didn't need them, but this film needs them to connect to the larger DCEU, which I don't even know if it exists anymore, because Viola Davis is up in this as Amanda Waller, and has like she's in like 2 scenes. One of them might just be her voice or like over a Zoom or something, but she definitely has a straight up conversation with Black Adam in at least one point in the film. So I think she's actually in this film. Yeah, so they connected to the larger universe with these characters, and they show us this facility that's a little like the Raft, but like a shittier version of the Raft, where they take people and they put them. DC's trying so hard to be Marvel, and they should just be themselves. Just make films that are good and entertaining. The parts of this film that I enjoyed the most were the parts where they were just letting Dwayne Johnson be Dwayne Johnson in a superhero film. That's what worked. The parts of the film that worked really well, and luckily that's most of the film. He's not stretching himself. This is not like an awards-worthy performance. He's not doing anything here where people are going to be like, wow, that was so totally different than anything he's ever done before. It's like, no, this is like the role was crafted specifically for Dwayne Johnson, and they probably even had somebody come along and rework his dialogue. I'm guessing probably there was a screenwriter who originally wrote the script, and this one probably has somebody who punched up the dialogue for Dwayne Johnson and knew exactly how to make the dialogue fit sort of his pattern of speech, the kind of things that he would like to say. Either that or else he just ad-libs now, which is entirely possible because it just feels like a Dwayne Johnson film, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. The dude is really entertaining and he makes tons of money at the box office. People go see his films. He is very charismatic, and he works as a hero, but he can also work as sort of like an action anti-hero. So I enjoyed the parts about that. The backstory gets kind of murky, but it also gets, I also can't really talk too much about it because Dwayne Johnson has a scene where he does give it some weight and some emotional backstory, and he also gives his character finally some emotional weight and backstory, and it sort of rounds out and fleshes out. And if you don't know that that's what's coming, then it's so. Anyway, there's more to his story than meets the eye, I guess is the thing. You don't really get much of a backstory on the other characters, on Fate and Hawkman, and they just kind of show up, and then they just kind of go away. I don't know if I'll ever see them again. I can't imagine James Gunn watched this film and was like, we need to explore them more as characters. I need more Hawkman. I need more Atom Smasher. Yeah, I don't think that that's a thing. So, I enjoyed this. It has actually a really cool song at the end, Exiled, which, of all of the things that we keep trying to put into the Oscar race, I would have loved to see Exiled. I think Exiled will probably be. I did check, and it was written for Black Adam, specifically for the film. So I think that's going to be probably on my list. I thought it was a good song. I thought it was a great song to close out the film. Yes, there's a scene sort of after the first part of the credits that, yes, you should stay for, although at this point I feel like everybody already knows what it is, and it's pointless now. I mean, I appreciate Dwayne Johnson for trying to do it. It's funny that Dwayne Johnson's star power, he's the biggest star we have right now in terms of global appeal at the box office and sort of what he's able to ask for per film. And I think even he's going to end up losing to this Warner Brothers Discovery, DC, whatever is happening. I don't know that there will be a Black Adam sequel. I don't know that they'll ever call Dwayne Johnson back, which is a mistake, because the problem here is not Dwayne Johnson. The problem here is that the film tried to do a little bit too much, and the film brought in characters that it knows no one gives a shit about. No one cares about those characters except for maybe like a few people. It's like there are X-Men, but then there are like X-Men that even X-Men fans know are not at the top of the list of people who need to be in films. So we're not running around going, hey, is Husk in this movie? You know, like Chamber's here. Good. I'm glad we got Chamber into an X-Men film. Um, it kind of felt like that to me. It felt like they just picked expendable people who could just come in and be there and fuck up the film, to be totally honest. But I still enjoyed the hell out of it, and I enjoyed it because of Dwayne Johnson. Not really because of anything else. Sarah Shahi as Adriana does a really good job. I enjoyed her. And for what it's worth, I don't think that the actors like Pierce Brosnan and Aldous Hodge do bad work in their characters. I just don't think they were necessary. I don't think anybody ever actually stopped to ask, is this the best Black Adam film we could have written? Um, Robert Downey Jr., when he was introduced as Iron Man, did not need like a bunch of people to fly in and join his film and be like, hey, we're also superheroes. And it was epic. I just think if you just let people be epic on their own, that it'll work out. So that's where this film kind of faltered. But it has excellent audio description. So if you're part of my blind and visually impaired community, then I think you'll enjoy it. As far as action sequences go, this film has more than typically our community would be comfortable with, because a lot of times I know people like to stay away from films that have too many special effects and too many action sequences, because it feels like we're just listening to sound effects. But no, William Michael Redmond is working like overtime to try to make sure that you get like every little detail, and it's the way that he describes it too, using certain adjectives and putting emphasis on certain things that really make it an experience instead of just description. So it's really terrific audio description, and I had a lot of fun with this film, even though I will acknowledge that my grade is probably a little bit higher than it deserves to be, because I can also see all the problems. Like, I agree with a lot of the criticism this film has gotten, but it definitely, none of it should be directed at Dwayne Johnson. I think he is exactly what the film needed, and he's exactly what Black Adam could and should have been if they had just let him do his thing. So essentially that's why Deadpool works. People just let Ryan Reynolds be Ryan Reynolds. So it's not that weird to say, hey, let's find a superhero that matches Dwayne Johnson's personality and let Dwayne Johnson be Dwayne Johnson. So if you like Deadpool and you don't like Black Adam because it's Dwayne Johnson being Dwayne Johnson, you're just a hypocrite. Sorry. It's true. Anyway, that's Black Adam. I'm gonna give it a B. Yeah, I enjoyed it. In spite of several plot elements that I would have if they let me run the DCU, which at this point it feels like anybody could run it. I would have been like, no, we don't need that. Let's kick this out of the film. But it's there, so whatever. Yeah. So let me know what you think about Black Adam, and put that in the comments. I always like to engage with people, and I'm still trying to get to 100. I'm like 8 people away from 100. I'm so close to my year-end goal. So if you could subscribe, that would be great. It would be a nice little Christmas present for me to actually get my year-end goal of 100. I also have a website, macthemovieguy.com. You can follow me on Twitter at macthemovieguy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the adna.org. That's the adna.org. And it'll let you know, like, what other things William Michael Redmond has done, just in case for some reason you don't know who he is. His voice is amazing. He's one of my favorite narrators. And I think he brings so much to every film. It's weird because I think that some of the top narrators, I have yet to hear them do bad narration. So I think they, for some reason, always seem to find themselves working with a team of narrators that do exceptional work. So that's it. I will review something else for you guys and see you on the other side.